Hello students, today let us discuss about scientific management objectives, principles of scientific management. Scientific management is nothing but the art of knowing exactly what is to be done and the best way of doing it. Scientific management depends on planning, standardizing, and improving employees' work at operational level of the organization to produce maximum output with minimum input. Taylor initiated the scientific management in industry in four spheres: standardization, time and task study, systematic selection and training, and pay incentives. So, these are the four pillars: standardization, time and task study, systematic selection and training, pay incentives. Scientific management is the outcome of using scientific knowledge and scientific methods in different aspects of management to solve management related problems. F.W. Taylor is the first person who had applied scientific methods to solve management problems. So, therefore, Taylor is known as the father of scientific management. Coming to the objectives of scientific management, there are four main objectives of scientific management. First one is substituting the old rule of thumb methods. Here, the old methods or old techniques are to be replaced with the advanced techniques of science. We have to use the advanced techniques of science. We have to replace the old methods such that the quality and productivity of goods increase. So that is the intention. So why we are changing the method, why we are adopting the new technology to see that productivity increases and at the same time the quality of the product is also improved. It is improved. Okay. Next, coming to the second point, selection, training and development of employees. This is very, very important. How you are selecting the employees, what type of training you are giving, that is very important. And a trained person, when we place him in a correct post or at a correct job, he can do better. So that is very important. So we have to select a person, and based on his skills and ability, we have to train him, and we have to put him at a particular job such that he can perform well. And third point is increasing the cooperation between the employees and management. This is very important. See, whenever we are working, we have good number of employees, we have the management team. When there is cordial relationship, when there is cooperation between the employees and management, the results will be fine. So therefore, as per the scientific methods and procedures, whatever we want to adopt, it can be taken up by the employees once there exists cooperation between the employees and management. So that is very important. We have to see that cordial relationship maintains such that whatever they want to implement, they are in a position to accept it and perform the task according to the scientific methods and procedures. And fourth point or fourth objective is dividing the work equally among workers and management so that suitable work is given to the correct group. So which group can perform this task? And the division of work is also very important, and we should not burden the workers with major responsibilities. So keeping all these things in view, we can see that they perform the work, they complete the job in time with more precision. So these are the objectives of scientific management. Now coming to the principles of scientific management. Here we have five principles. First one is replacing rule of thumb with science. Use of scientific method denotes precision in determining any aspect of work. Rule of thumb emphasizes estimation, since exactness of various aspects of work like day, fair work, standardization in work, uh, piece rate for payment, uh, are the basic core areas of scientific management. So here, in case of rule of thumb, it is all estimation. See what the present situation requires is exactness. Exactness is very important, and we have to see that the work is fair job, fair work takes place. There are certain standards are maintained in the work, and also how best we can give the wages to the workers. Okay, piece rate for payment, and also by considering all these aspects. That means we are giving much importance to the science or scientific way. That is the first principle of scientific management. And second principle is regarding the harmony in group action. See, group harmony suggests that there should be mutual give and take situation and proper understanding such that the group as a whole contributes to the maximum. So, when there is harmony in the group, definitely we can see that the contribution will be good. So, therefore, group harmony suggests that there should be mutual give and take takes place. That is very important in that particular situation, and proper understanding such that the overall task can be completed in time in a better way. Next comes the third principle of scientific management, which is cooperation. Scientific management involves achieving cooperation rather than chaotic individualism. Cooperation between management and workers can be developed through mutual understanding and change in thinking. So, when the thought process, when the thinking, understanding takes place among the workers and management, we can see good results or fruitful results will take place. And fourth principle is maximum output. Scientific management involves a continuous increase in production and productivity instead of restricted production either by management or by workers. Taylor was against inefficiency and deliberate curtailment of production. So always Taylor focuses on the production and productivity, and the scientific management also involves on the continuous increase in production, increase in efficiency. It focuses on the maximum output. And fifth principle is development of workers. Development of workers to the fullest extent possible for their own and for cooperative highest prosperity is essential. Training should be provided to workers to keep them fully fit according to the requirement of new methods of working. So the workers, they have to update themselves and they have to learn the new methods such that they can work in a better way, and such therefore the development of workers play a crucial role in scientific management. So it is one of the important principles of scientific management. So therefore it is the mutual benefit. See, the worker will be benefited, at the same time the organization is also get benefited when we see that the development of workers takes place in the organization. Features of scientific management. We have around eight features related to scientific management. The first feature is related to separation of planning and doing. Taylor emphasizes the separation of planning aspect from actual doing of the work. And according to Taylor, planning should be left to the supervisor, and the worker should emphasize only on the operational work. So that is very important. See, whatever work to be done, it is the responsibility of the worker, and the role of the supervisor is to plan. So he plans and the worker completes the task. He works on that particular job. So Taylor focuses or emphasizes on a separation of planning and doing. One has to plan, other has to do. So he has separated it. And second important feature of scientific management is functional foremanship. Taylor evolved the concept of functional foremanship based on specialization of functions, which could take planning work adequately besides keeping supervision on workers. In this system, 8 persons are involved to direct the activities of workers. Out of these, 4 persons are concerned with planning. So therefore, here we have different directions given to the workers. 4 persons, they will be focusing on the planning aspect, and other workers, they will be executing it, they will be working on it. So here we have, see for example, if there is a workshop manager, and under him there will be one planning in charge and one production in charge. So the workshop manager is in the top position, and next comes the planning in charge and production in charge. If you see the planning in charge, again under him one instruction card clerk will be there, and time and cost clerk will be there, route clerk will be there, and one disciplinarian will be there. So planning in charge is helped by 4 clerks, for example route clerk, instruction clerk, time cost clerk, and disciplinarian. And all these persons, they will be focusing on the worker. And if you see the production in charge, there also we have one speed boss will be there, inspector will be there, maintenance foreman will be there, and gang boss will be there. And those 4 persons will be focusing on the workers. So in this way, so workshop manager supported by planning in charge and production in charge, and planning in charge is having some assisted by 4 persons, and production in charge is assisted by 4 persons, and these persons they will be instructing the workers, they will be supervising the workers, and the workers will be completing their task. So route clerk, instruction card clerk, time and cost clerk, disciplinarian, they all come under the planning in charge. And we have the 4 persons on the doing aspect are speed boss, inspector, maintenance foreman, gang boss. They all of them they direct the workers on different aspect of work. So this is the functional foremanship. So this is very important aspect which was developed by Taylor, and that means a specialization of functions based on planning and also on production. Okay. Next we have another important feature of scientific management is on job analysis. Job analysis is undertaken to find out the one best way of doing the things. The best way of doing a job is one which requires the least movements. This is very important. Consequently, less time and cost. See, very, very important. We have to see that in less time and with less cost, with the least movements, the job has to be completed. The best way of doing the thing can be determined by taking up time motion fatigue studies. So, how much time for this job, how much time is required? How much motion is required, how much of fatigue is required. In that way, we have to analyze it. So that is called a job analysis based on time motion fatigue studies. And other feature of scientific management is standardization. Standardization should be maintained in respect of instruments, tools, um, period of work, amount of work, working conditions, cost of production, etc. So this is very, very important. So what type of tools we are using, how much time is required for doing that job, and amount of work, what are the working conditions, what is the cost of production. This all comes under the feature of standardization. And next important feature is scientific selection and training of workers. Taylor has suggested that workers should be selected on scientific basis, taking into account their education, work experience, their aptitude, their physical strength, etc. Apart from selection, proper emphasis should be given on the training of workers, which makes them more efficient and effective. So that is very important. Once selection is over, next comes the training aspect. So if we train the workers, their performance will be in a better way. And the other feature is financial incentives. According to Taylor, wages should be based on individual performance and not on the position which he occupies. A worker who completes the normal work gets wages at higher rate per piece, and one who does not complete gets a lower rate. So he has based on performance, the wages are to be decided, is the opinion of Taylor. Economy. Taylor suggests adequate consideration to be given to economy and profit. The economy and profit can be achieved by making the resources more productive as well as by eliminating the wastage. So we have to see that resources are to be used to the best way, and we should, and the wastage we have to curtail, we have to stop the wastage. That is also very important. We have to eliminate it, such that when you are focusing on the economy, naturally your what we call the production cost comes down, and also your profits will improve. And last feature is regarding the mutual cooperation. Mutual cooperation between management and workers can be achieved when there is a mental change in both parties from conflict to cooperation. So we have to see that the thinking, we have to be away from the conflicts, and we should be very much cooperative. When the cooperation exists between the management and the workers, definitely with that mutual cooperation we can do wonders. So these are the important features of scientific management. Now let us study about differences between administration and management. Students, administration is the process which deals with the formulation of corporate policies and coordination of all the functional areas. According to Oliver Sheldon, the activities performed by administration are determination of corporate policy, coordination of finance, production and distribution, the settlement of other issues related to organization, and finally controlling the executives. The word management and administration are interchangeable. in business organization. The people who set objectives and take decisions for meeting those objectives are known as managers in business undertakings, but in public undertaking they are known as administrators. Usually, administration is considered as higher level management group who formulate and implement major aims and policies. The word administration is mostly used in government organization, public administration, municipal administration, general administration. Day-to-day operations of a business or an organization controlled by the administration or administrator. So now let us discuss about the what are the differences between administration and management. Let us have some 8 points. Let us take that point and let us see what are the differences between administration and management. First, let us take a definition. Here, administration, the definition here is activities performed by administration involves determination of corporate policy, coordination of finance, production and distribution, settlement of issues related to organization, and finally controlling the executives. Management. The management definition is to manage is to forecast and plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate, and to control. So management is nothing but for planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. Coming to the area of concept, let us take concept and let us study what are the differences. Here in administration, it mainly deals with the formulation of corporate policy, how to frame the policy, and how to coordinate all the functional areas. So that is regarding the concept of administration. When we see the concept of management, management is a process of developing and maintaining an environment in which individuals work together in groups for attaining the organizational objectives. So here we have an organizational objective, and for that all the individuals work together in groups to achieve or to attain that organizational objective. Coming to the area of function, what is the function? Function according to administration, function of management. So administration frames the objectives and policies of the organization. So all the objectives and all the policies are framed by the administration. Management performs these policies, attaining the organizational objectives. So they are performed. Management always they perform them. The administration is they frame the objectives. Coming to the scope, administration provides adequate direction and is considered as a directing function. So administration is a directing function, whereas management is an executive function. Management implements the policies. So it is considered as an executive function. And regarding the nature, administration is legislative in nature. Management is an art and science. Involvement. Administration mainly involves in decision making, policy making, whereas management mainly involves in integrating and using the knowledge and analytical approaches created by other disciplines. So it is always integrates the knowledge of all disciplines and also analytical approach. Okay. Next one is a requirement. Administration does not require technical ability, whereas management needs technical ability for its effective functioning. Productivity. Administration is not productive in nature, whereas management is productive in nature. So these are the differences between administration and management. Now let us have a discussion on neoclassical theories. We have human relations and behavioral science. We have human relations approach theory. We have behavioral science theory. So let us have a an idea regarding the theories. Students, neoclassical theories or approaches. The theme of a neoclassical theory or approach to management is to deal with the human factor. These theories concentrate more on human relations rather than management relations. The neoclassical theory was introduced during the 19th century with the contribution of Elton Mayo and Maslow. They are very important persons, their contributions for the neoclassical theories. See, we have approaches. We have, as we have discussed, human relations approach and behavioral science approach. Let us first concentrate on the human relations approach theory. The human relations theory of management was proposed by researcher Elton Mayo. He worked as a professor of industrial research at Harvard University. He was very much interested in understanding the problems faced by the humans in the industries. Majority of the workers, what are the problems faced by the workers? So in the industry, so he was he studied on the workers in various industries. He studied books such as Human Problem of an Industrial Civilization. He contributed immensely towards the development of human relations in an industrial context. Thus, he is called as the father of human relations movement. The experiments which were conducted by Mayo and his team at the Hawthorne plant, Chicago, from 1927 onwards, the experiments were conducted to understand the effect of good physical facilities on the productivity of the workers. So, two aspects they have taken. One is good physical facilities versus the productivity of the workers. Elton Mayo was the very first researcher who worked tirelessly to understand and highlight the problems faced by the workers in the organization. He and his team proposed various methods to redress the grievances of the workers. So, what are the findings? If you see the findings of Mayo and his team, the morale of the employees both individually and in groups would have a direct impact upon the productivity of the organization. So morale plays a very, very important role on the productivity. So individual, as an individual and as a group, if our morale is good, the morale is high as an individual or as a group, definitely the productivity will be at a higher end. And next comes managers should have a more human approach towards the employees, not merely consider them as gear in the machinery. See, they are human beings, they are not machines. So we have to see that the human approach plays a significant role. And as managers, we have to be very much approachable to them. We have to see, we have to consider them, we have to we have to understand their problems and difficulties. And it is the duty of the managers to understand the psychology and attitude of the group and find practical solutions to their problems. We have to understand their psychology. We have to interact with them. What are the practical problems they are facing? How to overcome such problems? This is very, very important. Next, his experiments proved that workers worked according to informal group norms. Communication is a very important tool for boosting the overall productivity and performance of the organization. So here the communication also plays a very important role to improve the productivity and performance of the organization. And in his experiment he also noticed that the workers are working according to their informal group norms. So that is also, we have to keep it in mind. Thus, Elton Mayo greatly contributed towards the understanding and development of human relations in the organization. He found that democratic form of leadership is most effective rather than production-oriented leadership. Further, he proposed that the honor and dignity of the worker should always be respected. We have to respect the worker. We have to respect the worker, and we have to see that good working conditions exist, proper breaks are given, and tension-free environment definitely boosts the productivity of the organization. It has some limitations. But whereas paid too much attention to the human factor, whereas ignored all other factors. Further, they stated that it is quite difficult to make all the employees happy, and we can't satisfy each and everyone. And much emphasis was given on the human factor, neglecting other aspects. Okay. Now coming to the other theory, it is behavioral science theory. The behavioral science theory or approach is considered as a further extension of the human relations theory. Many famous social researchers such as Maslow, Douglas, Greger, Rennes, Likert contributed to this approach. So let us have an idea of Douglas. Professor Greger worked as a professor of psychology at MIT University, United States of America. He proposed a very popular theory of motivation which was named as Theory X and Theory Y. According to Theory X, workers were average, lazy and disliked. They do not have high ambitions and are needed to be forced to work. On the other hand, we have Theory Y that states that the workers are ambitious and hardworking. They are self-motivated to perform their job, tasks and take full responsibility of their work. Next, Abraham Maslow. He was a respected psychologist, and he proposed the need hierarchy theory in his research paper in the year 1943. And the other person by name Likert, he conducted extensive research for 14 years and found that participative management would lead to better and enhanced productivity in the organization. So that is very important. When there is participative style of management exists, definitely we can see that the productivity in the organization improves. So these are all the behavioral scientists, and they have their contribution to the management is very much appreciable. Behavioral science theory by the Greger, Abraham Maslow, Likert, etc. Let us discuss about the modern management theories. For example, we have a mathematical theory, systems theory, situational theory. We have a contemporary management theory, and so these are the theories which we'll be discussing here. So modern management gurus have proposed the following important theories. So one by one we can have an idea. First, let us discuss about the mathematical theory or mathematical approach. According to this theory, management can solve the problems of the organization through use of mathematical tools and models. Various elements of management can be quantified, and mathematical symbols and formulas can be used for solving them. A renowned management professor states that problems can be expressed in terms of basic relationship, and where a given goal is sought, the model can often be expressed in terms of suggesting a decision as to how best thing can be done. Mathematical formulas and models can be utilized for solving managerial problems. However, critics of this theory argue that this approach does not provide enough importance to human element in the organization. Further, there are many such variables in the organization which cannot be expressed in numbers. See, for example, honesty, loyalty, dedication, hard work, integrity, truthfulness, and we can't express them. in terms of mathematical equations or as a variable. So therefore, it has benefits and some advantages are there, some disadvantages are there. And coming to the systems theory or systems approach, according to this theory, the whole organization is viewed as an integrated and interrelated system which operates in a systematic manner. Traditional management theories viewed management as being separate from the whole organization. However, this theory, systems theory, assumes management also to be an integral part of the whole organizational system. Social researchers such as Bernard, Johnson, Martin had contributed greatly towards the development of a systems approach of management. Systems theory states that the organization as a big system which is fully interrelated and integrated. There also exist many subsystems in the big system. This approach of management had helped us to better understand the working of complex and large organizations. It emphasizes upon the functions of management such as planning, organizing, directing and controlling for smooth running of the organization. Next, we have a situational theory or situational approach theory. According to this theory, the working of management is situational in nature. All the decisions of the management are based upon the situation prevailing in the organization. According to the situational theory, all the management tools and techniques should be designed to fit and work according to different situations that exist in the organization. Managers need to understand that there is no single best way of management. The methods and techniques would change according to the situation. Management is required to deal differently in different situations. Next comes contemporary management theories. Here we have a theory by Rensis Likert. We have theory by Peter Drucker and by Prahalad. So this Rensis Likert, he is a sociology researcher and he has 4 styles of management: autocratic, benevolent, participative and democratic approach. So according to autocratic management by Likert, this approach states that management works in an autocratic manner, exercising complete control over all workers. And benevolent autocratic management means this approach states that the relationship between the management and workers is that of a trustful master and servant. Participative management. This approach states that the management would allow all workers to put forward their opinion during the decision-making process. Democratic approach. This approach states that workers are provided full participation in the process of decision making in the organization. According to Drucker, he is a social researcher. Drucker proposed that management should work in a creative manner. He believes that employees are the most important asset of the organization. He states that management should work in an organized and federal manner. He invented the concept of management by objectives. And finally, we have C.K. Prahalad, famous management professor, C.K. Prahalad. He contributed greatly towards understanding the importance of people skills and competing for the future. He believes that management approach need to focus towards sharpening the skills of the workforce of the organization and working towards making the organization more competitive in the business environment. So Prahalad always focuses on the workforce or sharpening the skills of the workforce, and we have to be more competitive in the business environment. So all these contribute to the more modern management theories. Thank you very much.